to another episode of Glitter and Garbage. I'm Justine Marino, joined by, once again, you were so great on the last one, celebrity astrologer, dear friend, Glitter and Garbage fave, Kyle Thomas. Yay!
Roar! I have arrived, yes.
And you're wearing your Beast shirt.
Oh, yes, I'm so into it.
You're working out a lot.
Yeah. Well,
You're like swole, as they say, I feel.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's always so much fun to be here and also show off my new pecs.
Yeah, no, I love your pecs. They're looking great. They're giving mine a run for their money. It doesn't take much, though. Now, Kyle, our last episode did very well. People responded to it. They loved the clip in particular, wherein we said Tauruses are the best in bed. People had a lot of opinions on that. So we thought, you know what, we should probably make this more of a regular thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, where you check in, we talk about celebrity, you know, what the celebrity couples have in the stars for them, and just kind of experiences we've had, which we were talking about. Aquariuses have not been the best lovers for us, right? No, they're not great. Is that, and you know what's funny is I Googled it, and pretty much every list had Aquarius at the bottom. I'm so sorry if you're Aquarius, but perhaps you're the exception to the rule. But I did think that was interesting.
Well, I mean, Aquarians are not the most romantic zodiac sign.
Sure.
So I think that because of the way that they're ruled by Uranus and they're an air sign, they can sometimes detach from their emotions. But that doesn't mean that that's a bad thing, because other zodiac signs can mirror that or match that, and that's what makes everyone so beautiful, is that we're all different and unique. And one of my favorite things about astrology is that it actually brings us together rather than separating us. Even if I don't want to bang an Aquarius tomorrow.
You know, it's funny, the last two people I banged before I got with Mitch were Aquarians, and I will say they were definitely detached from their emotions. I'll just leave it at that.
Aquarians are such good friends, though, too.
Yes, friend energy.
Well, I mean, if you're a Leo, you may really be drawn to Aquarian energy, or if you're an air sign, you may feel that that really fulfills you, because there's so many nuances and layers to human relationships and connections. So if you value social vibes or intellectual rapport or communication, that may be something that Aquarius can fulfill within you.
Ooh.
Whereas if you're an earth sign or a water sign, you might want more stability or emotional connection.
Sure. And I'm a fire sign, so I want fire, baby. Let's light it up.
Yes.
Well, let's light up this episode. We've got a few celeb couples to talk about. One that has been breaking the internet basically since we finished our last episode.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Did you know who Travis Kelce was prior to this?
No.
Neither did I.
I also don't really watch football.
Neither do I.
Yeah, no thanks.
No thanks. But like what she's doing for the NFL is pretty incredible.
It's magical. I mean, it is the Taylor effect. I think that I was talking about this with some friends, and who isn't talking about her right now?
Yeah.
But I mean, she is so iconic, and she's built such a legacy, and she's a part of the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I love about pop culture, is to really investigate, like, what are the archetypes, or what are the stories that are being played out in the public eye that essentially are like the gods and goddesses of days of old.
Sure.
So
it's been so fascinating to see this all unfold, and just to see millennial and Gen Z women just violently take on football. His jersey sales have gone up like 400%. Like, it's crazy. It's like Taylor has put the NFL on the map for women my age and younger, I will say. But there are a lot of naysayers. So that's why I thought maybe you could help break it down. According to the stars, how's it looking for them? Because a lot of people are saying, is this a PR move? Is she trying to course correct the bad Matty Healy press she got when she was dating him? He was quite controversial. Is this all a move, to kind of promote her Eras movie that she has coming to theaters this weekend? I'm seeing it Saturday. Thank you. So how's it looking for them? Is this the real deal?
Well, first off, who wouldn't want to bang a football player? So let's just put that out there.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure there's straight dudes that would too as well, because of that level of worship that has been created within the American culture around this particular sport is unlike any other sport.
Yes.
in America.
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, football is
so powerful.
Yeah, it is powerful.
Yeah.
And he looks powerful, you know?
Well, and it's interesting because I really do love their connection from an astrological angle.
Okay.
And I actually talked with People Magazine about this, and I've really done some deep dives on it before, and they just have so many interactions between their chart that really bring it to a whole different level of connection.
Okay.
And, you know, we've talked about Taylor before. She is a Sagittarius sun with a Cancer moon. We don't know her exact rising sign. The rising sign really does show a lot, but we can still see affinity between astrological angles.
Sure.
Travis he's a Libra sun with a Sagittarius moon.
Oh.
And, you know, the thing that we already see right here too is that when we look at more of the in-depth interactions between their planets that favor personal connection, like their Venus or their Mars, they're all connected so well and really aligned.
Okay.
So for instance, we have Taylor's Mars, which is the planet of sex and desire, in the exact same place as his Venus, which is the planet of affection and harmony and attraction. And so when you have something that is that aligned, it means that their aesthetics, their sense of beauty, their sense of desire can be shared in a way that is entirely harmonious.
Sure.
And we look at Mars and Venus as the cosmic lovers.
Yeah.
And so we always, especially in any chart that has to do with compatibility or personal relationships, you want them to be having fun together.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like it plays out in the way that we do with our partners, with our friends even, with our family, and anyone that we want to have that flow. So that's something that really I love about it. But they're actually born 2 months apart. And so anyone that has, so like all of our peer groups, you know, anyone like that you went to school with or, you know, the same like age and things of that nature, is that we're going to ultimately have certain outer planets that are in the same place. So, you know, Saturn, for instance, takes roughly about 30 years to go around the sun. So all of the people that are the same age are going to be going through a Saturn return roughly at that same time. So that's why there are certain cycles that they're also totally aligned with, because it's just happening at the same time.
Sure.
But the last thing I do really want to say here is that, I mean, they just have so many areas that, you know, in communication that are magical, in intimacy and affection that are working there. They also have some really strong alignments when it comes to really world building and success. And I wrote about this with people. It's kind of like they are this moment's king and queen. Granted, she can be a queen at any time with any man, but she's ultimately lifted him up to be at her throne beside her. And so I think that, you know, even on, again, going back to the zeitgeist and to pop culture and to society in general, that's what we're sort of watching happen. Sure. But the other thing that I do like to mention, and this can sometimes represent that there's a soulmate connection, is when someone's sun is in a really close alignment or in conversation with someone else's moon. Ooh. The sun is the life force.
Yes.
But the moon is the inner world. And so by uniting that with someone else, we have almost like a telepathic connection.
Sure.
Or a sense of safety.
Yeah.
And they have that. It's Taylor's sun is connected to his moon, and I love that.
I love it, and I love, you know, she's in the safety of his box at his games, you know, the fucking VIP
and
box.
his arms,
I know, all in the, and oh God. Now this came up last week. It's a really important thing I wanted to ask. My guest Caroline Goldfarb and she said she thinks he has a Coke can D. I kind of agree. What do you think?
Can you repeat that?
Coke can D. Have you not heard that?
No. I mean, interesting.
Wait. I have another test for you. Have you heard the term cum gutters?
Yeah, but
Okay, thank God.
Is this like about somebody that like just sucks a lot of...
No, it's the lines that are here on a really... You don't know that? Aaron, did you know cum gutters? Now this is 3 for 3 now. People, dudes who I've asked who don't know what cum gutters are. So I wonder, was it just like me and Caroline were fucking weirdos growing up or something?
I mean, I don't know. I think if I was going to think of that particular term, I would think of it as a human being.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Coke can D, though. What do you think about that?
That hurts. First and foremost, I mean, that hurts. You need a lot of lube, and you need a lot of time and a lot of fingers and probably poppers. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that I don't follow him too significantly.
Yeah.
I obviously became aware of him because of her. But I think, I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily even think Taylor would go after that kind of raw, animalistic Coke candy.
Really?
I think that there's other things that are more important to her. I think she needs to find someone that, in the ways that they do, that they can trust each other.
Sure.
That they can communicate.
Sure.
That there can be a level of shared experience and luxury and intimacy, because her chart really does speak a lot of that. You know, she's got, she has a Cancer moon. Oh. And so people with a Cancer moon really crave that sense of balance and emotional safety.
Yeah.
And so I think that, you know, obviously, you know, she's spicy and she can do what she wants and create whatever adventure she wants at literally any moment.
Yeah.
But I do think that for him, she feels that she can trust that, and she can be vulnerable with that.
Sure.
And she needs that. Otherwise, she's not going to publicly be there with him. Right. I mean, think about it. Like, literally, she could bang anyone.
Yeah, she could.
And so that's why it's like, if she wants a Coke candy, she'll just like, what is the app that you were talking about? Feed?
Oh, is it Field or Feed?
I have no idea.
It was an app that a friend of mine who's recently single was talking about. That's more of a hookup app. And it's either Field or Feed, but I hope it's Feeds so that she can just feed on that Coke candy.
Oh, man.
Okay, so here's the thing, and can you see anything in the stars here? Because to me, probably a lot of Taylor's issues in her relationships, I don't know her at all, but this is what I would surmise, just looking as an outsider. She's a very powerful woman. Like, she has to have a guy who's ready to step back and let her completely run the show and be the star. Do you think, according to their charts, this is a match for her?
Yes, but I also think that's not entirely true.
Really?
And I think that there are, I mean, if you look at the nuances and the complexities and the beauty of how relationships take place and evolve and grow, with her having that Cancer moon, she needs a sense of safety.
Okay.
So even if, you know, I mean, obviously she needs him to step up to be at her side and be able to rule and, you know, be able to stay at her level.
Right.
But he's a Libra sun, and Libras love partnership and will often, more often than not, put their partner before them or be supportive in that regard. And so I think that that's such a sweet sort of flow for them.
Okay.
And again, it's just this sort of energy that I think that when they see each other, because they're both very busy and traveling and doing all sorts of stuff and building their own empires, I think that when they are together, that is the most important thing. Yeah. And I think, again, it comes down to, like I said, it's about that sense of, can we touch each other? Right. Can we smile at each other? Sure. Can I know that you're not going to post this online? Right. It's all of that. It's that bubble of safety. The and trust. Especially, regardless if you are a celebrity or not. Sure. We all crave that.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
Along with the Coke candy, we do.
I'm going to pass on that one. I'm definitely going to pass on that one.
All right. Well, I'm so happy for them. As I said last week, this is a couple I'm totally shipping. Now we're going to move on to a couple that I'm not shipping at all. I actually mentioned bringing them up the last time you were on, and we were both like, no, we don't want it to be true, so let's just not speak it into existence. Since then, there has been an update. Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater have been spotted. They were spotted at Disneyland, and then allegedly he is living with her in New York. So this just prompted me to need to know what's going on here. I was telling you in the car on the way over here, I've read all the comments on all these updates. No one is for this union. All of the comments are negative. No one is like, yes, girl, get it. They're either like, you're a homewrecker or just gross. So I'm wondering if you can shed some light for us, those of us who are confused about what's going on here. I mean, he kind of looks like her brother, Frankie, but a ginger version.
I mean, I think you need to rant about that because we got to get that out of the way. Like,
it's nothing about this makes sense. She went from Dalton, who was tall and hot and like this real estate agent, to this theater nerd who's looks like ginger Frankie Grande, which no shade to Frankie. I love him. He's very sweet. But it's strange to go for someone who's a redheaded version of your brother, right?
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice. That being said, I'm hoping you can shed some light so that some of us Arianators who are still left here can like make peace with this and come to a place of acceptance.
For sure. So before, I even, went to college, I've been studying astrology since I was like 8 years old.
Sure.
Because I wanted to understand human relationships and the complexities that happen. I actually majored in psychology when I went to undergrad. And it's interesting because I've actually like utilized the synthesis of them in understanding celebrities, but also my relationships and my family and everything. And the thing that it really breaks down here is when I ran their charts. And so Ariana Grande is a Cancer sun with a Libra moon and a Capricorn rising.
Okay.
We do not have all of the details for Ethan's chart, but we do know that he's a Gemini sun with a Cancer moon.
Okay.
And the thing that I want to bring up, going back to Taylor and with Travis, is that there was a synergy between sun and moon.
Right.
And so with her being a Cancer sun and him being a Cancer moon, there's that sense of safety. And again, as we've talked about before, sometimes when we're bringing up pop culture and celebrities, certain patterns are being revealed in synchronicity and synergy. That's something that is the same between these two couples that we've seen.
Sure.
I really do like the way that it's so clear that within his charts and hers is that he brings so much joy to her.
Yeah.
And he makes her laugh. And there's such a closeness of humor and support and really understanding that they can, communicate on a way that is going to be healthy.
Right.
And I think that, like as I'm looking at the more specific particular aspects, we can see that his moon is in a perfect angle with her Saturn, promoting stability, trust, loyalty. That's really crucial, and especially for Ariana.
Yeah.
Think about having gone through a lot of traumatic relationships in the public eye, and now leaving, going through a divorce and settling that. She needs a place that's going to make her feel stable, secure, and happy.
Yeah.
So that's a really strong angle there that I love for them. Ethan's Venus is also perfectly aligned with Ariana's moon, bringing sympathy, pleasure, and warmth. And so it's again, it goes back to when we come home at the end of the day with a partner or a roommate or even a pet, you want to feel relaxed.
Yes.
You want to feel nurtured. And that's what we're really seeing here. But, again, it's interesting because sometimes you can sort of, by looking at astrology and see which certain aspects are being activated first.
Sure.
So, for instance, we can see that I feel like, just this instant connection of friendship, and laughter, and being able to almost like look at each other across the room and be like, all right, like I can kind of get you, and really allowing that to evolve. And they also have a two-way connection, which is very significantly rare. Each of each other's moons, which represents their emotional world, is equally connected and in conversation with the other person's sun.
Wow.
So it's like their body, their life force, their emotional energy, it's just aligned.
Wow.
So that's why even though we may look at a couple and be like, oh my God, I don't get it. Like, why is she with him? Or why is he with her? It's kind of like Hugh Jackman and his ex.
Yeah.
I'm sure, and because I've actually never broken them down before, but they probably have some sort of long-term stability in that regard.
Yeah.
So, I actually really do see them. They're not as strongly aligned as I think that Taylor and Travis are.
Okay.
But I do think of the three couples that we're talking about today, they do really have a lot going in their favor. Now, I don't necessarily think this is going to be a super long-term connection.
Okay.
I do think that
You don't think the connection that broke up 2 marriages is going to last?
No, the thing about it here, though, is it's really going to depend on, I think that, so Saturn is in Pisces right now.
Okay.
And it is squaring his sun until 2026.
So what does that mean?
So when an angle is really positive, like a trine or a sextile,
okay.
A conjunction can be positive, negative, or neutral. It really depends.
Okay.
But we look at these kinds of angles, and that's how we talk about the conversation. That's why, even you and I can look at our planets and be like, okay, this is where we flow.
Right.
This is where we need to work through things.
Sure.
For instance, the last couple that we're going to talk about shortly are not in alignment.
Wow.
And it's interesting because even when we see that there's an angle that's challenging, and that's how I can make predictions about even like the stars every day.
Sure.
And I can talk about like the different aspects the moon is making,
right.
or Saturn is opposite Mars, etc. These kinds of things.
Sure.
That's how we talk about the energy that is raw and is there. And with astrology being predictive, we know it's going to manifest there, but you can also use it to your advantage. So with them, they lean into that. A positive relationship is naturally going to bring out that reflection of growth.
Yeah.
But then whereas sometimes even the best of relationships, you may not have all of your angles aligned. Like with people I've dated, or even like past friends or things like that, like we have so much in connection and great, but like with one of my exes, it's like we had a very strong, challenging angle with Mars and the sun, and that creates explosive fire.
Wow.
But it doesn't always have to be there. It needs to be activated.
Now, explosive fire feels like it could be good or bad.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Question for you personally.
Yeah.
When you befriend people or anything, do you get their charts and look into their stuff right away? Just to see any kind of roadblocks or issues you might have down the line?
It depends.
Okay.
And I think that, sometimes I'll do it at the bar. Like I'll run into people at people's birthday parties or events. And it's fun to kind of have in a way of connection. And that, again, that's why I love astrology so much. And I've been so passionate about it forever, is that it is a tool for me to help understand you or to find a common ground.
Yeah.
And I love that. It makes me so happy. And that's why I was always the astrology weird kid, just the whatever.
Yeah.
But even challenges, I think, they help us grow. Like, for instance, the last couple we're going to talk about shortly.
Yes.
They have a lot of these areas. And another example, Sam and Brittany.
Okay.
They had a lot of planets that were square or in opposition.
Got it.
Which can help you learn about new areas of life.
Right.
Or to change your perspective on things.
Okay.
But it also creates friction. And, think about 2 opposing forces.
Sure.
One is either going to dominate the other, unless you find a place of balance.
Right.
Same thing as if it's like a 98 or 90 degree angle.
Yeah.
You are either going to work in tandem,
right,
or you have to budge, because it's like anytime there is that friction, that tension, there must be a release. There must be an explosion of some kind.
Yeah.
Now, if you work with these kinds of things in a healthy and positive way, then it can help you live a healthier and more enlightened life. But sometimes they don't.
Right.
And people like to be stubborn in what they know. And that's why any zodiac sign that is in the same modality that you are,
right,
or your opposite, is going to really challenge you.
Sure.
So
now, question before we get to our last couple, are there any signs that you're like, hell no, I'll never date that sign? Or because you seem pretty open, you seem like you find things to appreciate about the entire spectrum of the zodiac, but are there any that give you an immediate like red flag? So
this is the funniest thing. I actually took 2 years off dating from 2021 until, a year and a half.
Okay.
Until the beginning of this year. And I was like, this year I'm getting a man. And I want it to be lovely, but I was like, I want to date around, and I'm going to like do my thing and explore my sexuality and my level of intimacy and affection again, because I needed to like reawaken it.
Sure.
And I made a list at the beginning of the year, and I will date any zodiac sign, and I will, because it's more complicated than just your sun sign.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not going to date a Scorpio, a Sagittarius, or an Aquarius this year. And then the 3 guys that I've actually had a connection with this year are all in that exact order.
Of course,
and
because you're focused on it.
Yeah, so I mean, I dated a Scorpio from January until April, and then I dated a Sagittarius from May until July, and then I started doing whatever this was with this Aquarius guy for the last couple months, and I was just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that, I don't know. I mean, I love things about Scorpios, except when they're mean.
Yeah.
And
they can be mean.
And I have placements in Scorpio and Taurus, and so it activates a lot of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like I was saying with the Aquarius that I was doing whatever that was with.
Yeah.
On our first date, I told him, I was like, I've never had good sex with an Aquarius. Ever. Not even once.
It was a challenge.
Well, baby, it was porn star sex. It was
proved
great.
Wrong.
Yes, absolutely. And
That's
I was
good to know.
and I was like, okay, granted, having looked at his chart, I know a lot of things why, but also we're not seeing each other now.
Yeah.
I snipped that shit a week ago.
You snipped it.
Yeah.
Bye.
So next.
Thank you. Next, Ariana. Right? See how I tied that in there? Professional.
What about you? I mean, I know you're in a significant thing, but
it's funny. I'd say Capricorns wouldn't be like my go-to, although one of my best friends is a Capricorn and I love her very much. But my second super serious boyfriend was a Capricorn, and it was just like butting heads constantly. And I have since read that Capricorn Aries is not a good match.
This is exactly what I was talking about. You guys are square.
Yes. Exactly. But what's interesting is I've also always read that Pisces Aries is not a typical match, but I've found that probably at least half of the guys that I've been like seriously interested in or had some sort of romantic tryst with have been Pisces. And 2 of my best friends in high school were Pisces. Like, I'm just constantly surrounded by Pisces, I find.
Let me pull up your chart.
Yeah, I was going to say because... And my boyfriend, and Mitch, it's like the healthiest, most low-key relationship I've ever had. And he's a double Pisces, too. He's Pisces sun and Pisces moon. So he's a sensitive one.
Well, you have a Scorpio moon.
Oh, right. So that makes sense.
So that, I mean, on an emotional level, you crave that deep level of trust and intimacy and sensitivity and empathy. And because you're all or nothing when it comes to your internal world. You're like, I am feeling this so intensely. And the thing that I love about...
That's so spot on.
The thing that I love about that, though, is that it really, you are all or nothing, but that can allow you to reach deeper levels of connection. Yeah. And someone with a Pisces placement is going to hopefully be able to activate that for you. So if they have like a Pisces sun, a Pisces moon,
I guess.
You have 3 placements in Scorpio.
Oh yeah.
So that's why activates from that angle that level of harmony. Yeah. It's when that's what I'm saying. So it's like Earth sign energy is going to activate Earth sign energy in someone else. Right. Fire signs, etc.
Sure.
But one thing, granted, you don't have this, but when we have our zodiac sign, our sun sign, Venus is always going to be in an orb of closeness to it. Same thing with Mercury.
Got it.
So that's why usually, even if you're, like for instance, I'm a Taurus sun. Yeah. I have my Mercury is in Gemini. Right. Which is the sign after me.
Got it.
So that's why we often have strong connections with people near our birth sign.
Well, and that's true because they all have been like very close to my birth date and birth sign, you know. So that makes perfect sense. Cause I'm just like, what? I can't get rid of these fucking Pisces. They're just they're drowning me.
I love Pisces.
I do too. I love Pisces.
I really love Pisces.
I like them too. I feel like they get a bad rep for being like too sensitive sometimes, but I love Pisces. Like I said, some of my best friends are Pisces. A lot of the guys I've dated, if I had a nickel for every Pisces I've hooked up with, man, I've
never had good sex with Pisces either.
Really?
Mm-mm. I've had great dating relationships with Pisces. Mm-hmm. Where I was like, wow, this person is so wonderful and so sweet and kind and creative and but I think, had I pursued a connection with them, or equally if they had pursued it with me, the sex probably would have gotten better.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had this thing where I used to refer to Pisces as limp fish for
Oh my God.
for a reason. Yeah.
Oh shit! Shots fired.
But don't get me wrong. I love me a Pisces.
You love you a Pisces. I get it. And you know, I'm out here dating and hooking up with all the Pisces. I mean, not anymore, but I'm just with one now. But it is interesting. I will say.
Is he limp fish for you?
No. He's great. Mitch is great, you guys. That double Pisces is working for me. But I will say, as much shit as I talked about Capricorns and how I never date, there was one Capricorn I hooked up with that was like really great in the bed.
I really do love connections with Capricorn. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm a Taurus, like I said, and my Venus is in Taurus. Yeah. So that synergy between placements and in Capricorn is really strong. But because of the way that my chart is, sometimes when I am dating a Capricorn, it actually activates their power and my career. Oh. So it sort of creates this sense of like being kind of like a power couple kind of thing.
Ooh, I like that for you.
So someone with that kind of placement is going to activate that.
So
but same thing for you. It's like if you, hold on. Cancer energy would do that really well with you.
Oh, yeah. There was a Cancer. There was a Cancer lacrosse player that he lived in Delaware, and he would come into town, and every time I would hook up with him, and it was hot, man. Yeah, it was great. But other than that, I haven't really dated many Cancers, but not that I'm looking. Again, I'm happy with my double Pisces, but good to know. It's so interesting.
Same thing with like Cancers though, is that like the only water sign that I think that I've had like really good sex with is Scorpio.
Interesting.
But with Cancers, it's like, I mean, I've had times when I've dated a Cancer and we were like dating and like hooking up, and then they like started crying in the middle of sex, and they were like, I just really feel you right now, and I was like, I know you do.
Yeah.
But what? I'm serious, you know? And it's like,
I know, I'm inside you.
Dun dun dun! Like, how did that happen? Seriously. But yeah, so it's interesting though. But I've had really lovely relationships with them.
Yeah.
So I just think it's nuance.
It's so interesting, and the nuance is so interesting because, like I said, I have been with some Pisces that weren't the best, but like a couple of them have really knocked it out of the park. You know, one of them 10 years strong. Way to go, Mitch.
No, but think about Devil Dick. Yeah. You know, it's like we all laugh about like how we've dated someone that's like so good in bed.
Yeah.
Like this Aquarius, I was just like doing that, whatever that was.
Yeah.
But like not good at intimacy.
Not a good person.
Or not good at being able to fulfill me in the way that I needed intimately.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean he's a bad guy.
Wait, Devil Dick?
Oh, total Devil Dick.
I've never heard that term
How have you never heard of Devil Dick? Devil Dick is so fun, but it's awful.
Coke can, Devil Dick, and cum gutters. We're covering all the important things here on Glittering Garbage.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That sounds fun, though. Devil Dick.
Devil Dick is...
we've all had a devil dick.
But I mean, you know about husband dick, right?
That's like, I would assume husband dick is like solid, lock it down, you know.
Yes. So like people that I've dated consider me husband dick, not devil dick.
Oh, but devil dick, I feel like they both have their pros and cons, right? Because devil dick is like unbelievable chemistry, passion.
Yes. But you're going to be destroyed by that.
Yeah, you're going to be heartbroken and alone at the end.
Exactly.
But husband dick is like maybe a little bit more, not quite as like fiery, but I feel like it would still be fiery, right?
Husband dick is the one that you want to have forever.
Husband dick is the one you want forever.
Exactly.
Love it. Okay. Can you see the wheels turning?
Oh my God, if I was a meme, that would be it.
That's
you know,
so funny. Well, I'm so glad. I definitely have husband dick. I'm really glad that that's the one you want. But yeah, who hasn't had a fucking devil dick where you're just like, God, they keep sneaking back in. Get out of here. Well, speaking of devil dick, I'm wondering if this last couple might have a devil dick in here, because here's the thing. Jodie Turner-Smith and Joshua Jackson. We covered this a little bit last week, you guys. The gist of what I read during my stoned Reddit research was that basically it was a little more casual. You know, he was photographed kissing someone at an airport when he was kind of still supposedly dating Jodie Turner-Smith. Then she got pregnant. They decided to give it a go. They thought they might be a good power couple. And then since then, I think things have maybe fizzled out. What is it looking like in the stars for these two?
Yeah. So Jodie is a Virgo sun with a Libra moon.
Okay.
And we don't have her time of birth. Same thing with him. And with him, he is a Gemini sun with a Leo moon. So the thing about this is that just even by looking at their sun signs, those are square.
Wow.
Those are going to create some sort of challenge here.
Sure.
But the thing is, they have a lot of planets in those similar places as well. So there's just a lot of conflict between how they are trying to present themselves and how they're trying to flow and how they're trying to look at their perspective on life. It's not to lessen the idea of conflict or war, because clearly that is a very prominent issue right now. But when opposing sides don't see anything, you either have to find a complete compromise or there isn't one.
Got it.
So, I think ultimately, like, we all like to believe that there can be peace and balance, but there's also always a need for sacrifice then.
Sure.
And that's why with people that have these, strong placements that are not completely aligned, that is going to require consistent, what's the word I used over here? Compromise. That's the word. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because I write out everything.
Yeah. You're so thorough. Thank you.
But on a positive note, that can mean that they can grow so much together and learn more and go further ultimately.
Yeah.
Because they're forced to get out of their comfort zone.
Sure.
And if, that's why, even elements, people that are earth signs love each other, but they're not going to probably propel each other to step outside of that box and grow even further, because there's natural harmony.
Got it.
And, so that's something here that I did notice. But granted, they do have some good connections that are favoring camaraderie and connection. But I do think that ultimately here, I feel like regardless of their unraveling now, I do think that there is a possibility of building a sense of friendship.
Okay.
In the long term from here.
They can lovingly disconnect.
Yeah, but there's just so much friction. This couple is one of the most incompatible couples that I've ever done a reading about.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, totally.
It's interesting, too, because they were a pretty unexpected couple when they came together. Everyone was like, how do they know each other? Which I don't know if they've ever worked together, but to me, she is so statuesque and stunning and seems
elegant. Absolutely.
Has her shit together. Like the fact that she ended up with Pacey from Dawson's Creek, I was like, what? Not that no shade. I was such a Pacey girl. You guys know that. But it just was, I just thought I would have seen her with someone with more regal, because she has these kind of regal vibes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And so the fact that she was kind of with this more like boy man next door vibe, was a little bit surprising. I think most people were surprised at this union to begin with.
Well, there are nuances in all relationships, and their moons are in conversation. So it's when you have that sort of synergy, it allows you to find an ability to have emotional sharing or nurturing or trying to at least communicate their emotions. So that's why, of course, this relationship isn't bad just because it's supposedly incompatible.
Right.
But it just requires more work than they both probably want to make anymore.
Right. And that makes sense. Yes, that makes perfect sense, because like I said last week, Jodie, I think, has made jokes about how they met was at a one-night stand. Like, I think it was a casual hookup thing. And they were kind of dating, but maybe not exclusive. And then pregnant, let's give it a try. Yeah. That kind of thing. So that makes sense that they wouldn't, it's not even 3 years, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I'm so glad that I am not straight. Oh, oh no. That would, I feel like that level of commitment and destiny is something that I don't have to deal with.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, when I go on a date with someone, not right away, but or if I'm dating someone, we'll discuss, do we want to have kids?
Yeah.
Or do we not at all?
Yeah.
And whatever they say, because it's interesting, because it's like growing up, I always was like, I'm going to be a great father.
Yeah.
And I'm going to really look forward to doing that.
Right.
At this point in time, I don't know if I'm going to be a dad.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've come to that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that if I were to do that, it would be with someone that really wants that. And then I would be supportive of that. And I would be like, all right, let's do this together.
Right. Absolutely.
But I don't have to worry about popping out a kid or being like, getting that phone call where it's like, hey, I missed it. You know, like, oh my God, I would die.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no. Like, no.
I just joke. I'm still, I don't know. I feel like I'm still a teen that's about to accidentally get pregnant. The way I'm 38 and I'm still terrified of getting pregnant. I guess apparently it's a condition where it's fear of pregnancy. It's like a phobia that a lot of people have. But I'm like, at 38, I feel I would have outgrown it. I think I'm probably not going to go that route. But you're so lucky because dudes, you guys can fucking look at Al Pacino. He's like in his 80s.
Yeah.
Popping out some kids with this girl, you know? But, you know, I think Mitch and we're on the same page where we're like, if it happened, we'd go with it, but we're not like super. We have fun.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
We can afford to do whatever we want to do when we want to do it, and kids are expensive. You know.
Yeah.
So
and that's why when I'm looking at like astrological compatibility, is you can see that two people that may be really wonderful parents.
Yeah.
But they may not have the most opportunity when it comes to money.
Sure.
And so again, it's. I really do believe that, you know, there's a cosmic power that brings all the nuance and beauty to every single chart and interaction. But I do think that we have an ability to interact with it and step up to that. Mm-hmm. And that's why I was saying, for instance, with like, you know, that ex particularly, that I had like the fiery intensity with, well, by being aware of it, you can make it a healthy thing and be like, okay, I'm going to disengage from this frustration that we may be having. Sure. And it's kind of like, I mean, it's when we ended, like I should have fought for him.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, this will burn off and we'll be back together. And we're not.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
You know, we move on.
Yeah, we move on. I mean, you were kind of moving on Saturday night at Practical Magic.
Oh my God.
Before we wrap up. So I was emceeing Practical Magic for Street Food Cinema on Saturday night. I invited a group of friends because it's one of my favorite holiday movies. You had not seen it.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
I loved it.
It's fun,
I thought it was super cute and super funny, and it was all of it was just great.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's great.
I mean, Stockard Channing is in it. Like, what more do you need? It's great. It's a little chaotic story-wise, but fuck it. I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah.
It's a story of sisterhood and bangs, and I'm here for it.
Yes.
But you were there with a date, and you had something funny happen after that night. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened? Because it's kind of, I think, most people's worst nightmare.
Right. Okay, so like quick story. So I was trying to see this Aquarius for a couple months and it clearly didn't work out and that's okay. And thank you, next.
Yes.
So I unfollowed the bitch and downloaded Raya the next day and was like,
yes.
And then I matched with this wonderful human being who's really nice. And, you know, it's been less than a week. So it's not like we're, you know, diving in too fast. But we agreed that we were going to go to this event.
Yes.
And so we like had wine and we're really hitting it off and having great conversation.
There was fog. It was a vibe.
Well, and then we get there and then it was just lots of public making out.
There was some PDA. Like I was telling Kyle, like I
saw you give me an eye and you were like, what are you doing?
Well, it was funny because we do like we did trivia and then give away tickets to Mamma Mia. So I'm like giving the winner the tickets and I turn around and you guys are just making out. And I was like, oh my God, am I in middle school again?
I know.
Is my friend making out with his crush? I love it.
I know. And it I don't know. I do like to feel desired and I like to have someone want to publicly own me and be like, this is my man, this is who I'm interested in.
Yes.
Not necessarily on the first date, but hey, we went through it. And so anyways, so we're like
this is great.
laying there and, you know, like watching them cast spells.
Yes.
And as I'm getting, you just your eyes, you're just like, God, what is going on?
Also, I was so stoned. And
were you? Yeah, I didn't even realize
you
that.
Didn't even see. I was like,
no.
I'm totally vape. All of my vape. I was trying to be so like low key about it, but I felt like it was going straight over. But you were making out, so you didn't even notice.
No, not at all. And so, the plan was like we were going to do that. And then because I had just downloaded Raya, I'm like, doing the swipe and keeping,
keeping the options open.
Well, I want to meet. And actually today, as of today, the sun moves into my house of marriage and commitment and partnership. So I already know I have a ton of opportunity around dating.
Great. For
the rest of the year. So I from a predictive standpoint, I already know what's going to happen. From a productive standpoint, I'm going to be making out with lots of dudes.
Well,
unless one dude knocks me up, but owns me.
Yes.
That sounds so kinky, and
does.
I'm into it.
Own me, daddy.
Yeah, but so anyway, so I get this message the next day. Oh my God. The next day from this guy who is really handsome. You saw him.
He's hot. I saw the pic. He's hot. Yeah, he can get it.
Yeah. And I was hoping to go on a date with him this week. Mm-hmm. And he's like, how is practical magic? And I was like, wait, what? And he was like, yeah, and so he saw me there and basically unfollowed me, blocked me, and I was like, damn it. So I just got to be really careful about that public PDA stuff because
well, but do you if you guys haven't set any sort of expectation?
I know, but I'm a classy bitch.
No,
so.
you are classy. That's why I was like, whoa, okay. I thought this was a first date, but Kyle, get it. But I just love that someone you happen to know was also at Practical Magic in the Pacific Palisades. What are the odds? I mean, they're pretty good. All the gays were there, but it's hilarious to me. I love it. But I'm excited to hear about your journey and where these apps and swipes take you.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna put myself out there.
Yeah, we are. Now, before we wrap, what do you have to say about the eclipses? Any sort of advice for everyone?
Okay, so an eclipse is a very powerful astrological event.
Yes.
And they're either a solar eclipse, which is on a new moon, or a lunar eclipse, which is on a full moon.
Yes.
They're very intense in the 6 weeks before, 6 weeks after. So we're still in eclipse season until the end of November.
Okay.
The thing about eclipses, though, is that they bring destined and karmic events. So we will be experiencing major beginnings, endings, turning points, just all sorts of really intense, memorable events that we will often look back on and be like, wow, that's when I met that person, or that's when I got that deal. And so depending on where it falls in your natal chart and for your sun sign, that's how you know how you're going to be affected. So we have a powerful solar eclipse on October 14th in Libra at 21 degrees. So if you have your natal chart, take a look at where that falls. That house is going to be activated. But on a global level, there's going to be a lot of energy around peace and war.
Oh.
And then there's also a lot of energy around partnerships, negotiation, contracts, harmony, and building that. So there's going to be a lot of separations as well as new relationships that happen.
Got it.
And this is a collective thing.
Okay.
At the end of this month, on October 28th, we have a lunar eclipse in Taurus at 5 degrees. If you know your natal chart, take a look at that and see where that falls. That house will be activated. There will be an ending, turning point, or a large culmination.
Okay.
On a collective level, this affects the economy, fiscal situations, the real estate industry, as well as what we value and self-worth and the worth of things. So that's a lot of the energy that's going to be activated. Luckily, the eclipse at the end of the month is actually going to be really good. So really looking forward to that. Unfortunately, though, the eclipse that we're having on the 21st, which is the one that I said in Libra, which is activating the peace and war, is not very good. So
the October 21st?
October 14th.
Oh, 14th.
Yes. And it's 21 degrees of Libra.
Oh, 21 degrees. Okay. So that's this Saturday.
Yeah. And that sets up a theme for 6 months.
Oh, what's the theme?
Yeah. It's all about the things that I was just discussing.
Oh, okay. So great. Perfect.
It's justice, it's harmony, it's
peace
balance,
and war.
It's relationships.
Okay. Got it.
Partnerships. So it could, be a large synthesis of new business relationships or contracts or client relationships.
Okay.
Or new marriages or things of that nature. And so literally, because of my chart, I already know that like new relationships are coming to me. Like a very, very significant one is guaranteed to happen.
Incredible.
The last time this happened is when my ex and I earlier this year, who I really had a thing for, broke up, and then I signed with 3 agents.
Wow.
So I knew it was coming. It had to come. So it was either him or them.
Yeah.
And so that's what happens with eclipses. Things come and go.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look pretty closely.
It's going to be intense. So take care of your health, lie low.
Okay.
Try not to do too many impulsive things, but there's lots of new beginnings and exciting things to be seen from it. We just have to be
weather the storm.
Careful.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, Kyle, do you have anything coming up? How can people find you? How can they book a reading with you?
Yeah, so I've actually completed all of my content for 2023
Amazing.
For the rest of the year, as well as started to finish all of my predictions for 2024.
Great.
So my Patreon gets access to all of those. I'm begin releasing them actually in the next couple days. So that's a big place if you want predictions for next year, to plan ahead, all sorts of stuff. And I'm actually creating more specific and in-depth predictions than I've ever done before. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited about that for my community. Yeah, I mean, that's the big stuff. I've got a lot of projects that are currently behind the scenes that I can't talk about yet.
Cool.
But yeah, there's lots of content to come. I'm really very eager to see the next couple months unfold. And you can find me at kylethomasastrology.com and on Instagram at MrKylethomas.
Mr. Kyle Thomas, thank you. And you guys, I have some shows coming up October 28th on the day of
that's a powerful time.
Powerful eclipse. I'll be doing a powerful couple of shows at the Commonwealth Sanctuary in Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. Apparently they're the same thing. And then December 3rd, I'll be at the Den Theater in Chicago. And December 7th through 9th, I will be at the Comedy Cabin in Janesville, Wisconsin. Tickets available in my Instagram bio, or just email me at glitterandgarbagepod@gmail.com if you're having trouble finding tickets. I'll get you guys hooked up. Otherwise, Kyle, we got to do this all the time, I think.
I adore you. Thank you so much for having me.
We'll have you back next month.
Oh, and if people, if we do decide to continue to do this, if you have questions that you want us to answer.
I was going to say that.
That would be, they either submit them to you or me, because I think that would be really helpful. Because, and or if they have a favorite celeb.
Yes.
Stuff like that would be cool.
Yeah, you guys, I think we're going to start doing this a little bit more regularly, like once a month. So yeah, if you have questions about your chart, your love life, celebrities you like, just send them our way and we'll hit them next time. You guys, thank you. I'll see you next time on Glitter and Garbage. Bye.
Glitter and Garbage.